What's going on YouTube? My name is Bancroft and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going over more of the Fusion World revealed cards. And truth be told, this is the second time I've had to record this video only because the first time I recorded it, it kind of more became a talk about Masters. So I had to kind of scrap that and make that a separate video in itself. And then I'm coming back here to record my reviews here. Or my impressions of these reveals. So like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for a reason. But let's kind of get into this. And for every card, I'm going to try to spend no more than like a minute on. That way, we're just kind of going through these. There are quite a bit of cards, and there's also cards I want to talk about in conjunction to these said cards as well. So the first one we got is Android 17. He is a Universe 7. He's Tournament Power, and he's an Android. He's a 3-cost permanent. Your leader with Universe 7 in its special traits gets plus 5,000 power, which is great. Once this set comes out, there will be 3 leaders of Universe 7 in its trait. The other perm is that your leader, if your leader is awakened, this card can't be KO'd by skills of your opponent's battle cards. This is really good in a 50-50 situation because it can still be bounced, it can still be negged out. So there are ways of still getting rid of it, but outside that, green can't just straight up pop it. And as long as you don't attack with this card, your opponent cannot attack into it because it cannot be KO'd by skills. It can still be KO'd by battle though. So kind of work your way around that. But what's great about this card is that it does cost 3, which can be played for free off the Kalfa, which on play you draw 1 card, then you play up to 1 battle card with the cost of 3 or less with Tournament Power in a special trait from your hand. So that's really cool synergy there. But that's not all. Kalfa can be paid for 1 energy by the new leader. As a reminder, activate main once per turn. 1 energy. Discard 1 card from your hand. Play it to 1 battle card, 20,000 power or less, and Tournament Power in such trait from your hand. So with the leader at 3 or less life, you pay 1, discard 1 card, you play the Kalfa, which turns around, plays the Android 17. Now your leader is a 25k leader, which is just amazing. You have a 20k Kalfa on board, and if your leader's awakened, she's also 25k, and this card also is a 25k. So for 1 energy, you have 3 25k attackers. Pretty cool. Going over the next card, Fuse Zamasu, or Zamasu Fuse, sorry. Supreme Kai Praetor. When attacking, you have 7 fewer cards in your hand, you draw 1 card. This deck needs draw power, because as a reminder, when you're awakened on the new Zamasu Fuse deck, you pay 1 energy, you discard 1 card from your hand. If your life is 2 or less, add top card of your deck to your life. That is it. There is no drawing on this leader. Even on the front side, it's just a draw 1. So like, the deck needs more drawing capabilities. So for 4 energy, you're playing this card. This card does have a secondary effect where when KO'd, you play this card from your drop in rest mode. Then you can't play Zamasu Fuse for the turn. So this is one of those cards where if your opponent KOs it, it comes back and they have to do it again just to confirm that it's gone. Depending on the matchup, that may be a lot easier than said. For example, green, they play a drop early, you pop it, it comes back, you swing into it, it's gone. Now you swing into their leader with the other attack, and your opponent's losing out draw power because they don't have ways of just drawing cards to their hands. So it does help, but for 4 energy, I don't know if it's the greatest thing you could do. At least my opinion. Next, we got Hellas, God of Destruction, Universe 2. 4 cost, 25k, that on play, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with 30,000 power or more, and it gets minus 20,000 power for the turn. There are better 4-drops in my opinion. This is cute interaction if you kind of mix this with the Beerus deck, because you can play this card and you hit a card that's 30,000 power, make it 10k, use Beerus' activate main to neg it by another 10. Cool. But outside that, I don't see me running this. I mean, I'd rather play the 4-drop Gohan, who's a crit, and on attack, it negs another card by 10. So that way, if you want to swing into it with another card, it's already reduced power. If your opponent wants to save it, they need to get rid of cards in their hand. So Hellas, it's all right. Master Roshi, at first glance, there's another card I want to talk about. When I get to, I'll link it back to this card. 5k is not a lot. So it is a blunker, but the permanent is if this card is in rest mode, this card gets plus 20,000 power. So it's a 3 energy for a 25k swing. If you want to use this as a blocker, this card can be bounced, this card can be negged, this card can be KO'd, all before you even have a chance to block with it. I don't know if this is the best thing as a quote-unquote blocker, but it is a 10k combo, which is kind of nice. If you want to tech in like 2 of these just in case you need to swing with it, go right ahead. Next, we have a Goku Black 4-drop When attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less, place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. This card's really great in conjunction to the 6-drop Goku Black, which, when attacking, you can play a 4-drop, which is pretty cool. Does this take the place of the vanilla Goku Black? I think you run like a 2-3 split or something like that. Just work your numbers out. Because this is a 5k combo card instead of a 10k combo card. But with the right mix-ups and deck synergy, you could possibly send a 3 or less to your opponent's bottom of your deck. So I'm like, there is potential with this card. Going to Paragus, when KO'd, if you have 6 or more energy, add up to 1 Broly BR card from your drop to your hand. This is a bit of a tricky card because it's when KO'd. It's not like when played or when attack or anything like that. So you have to find a way to get rid of it, and your opponent may not want to try to get rid of it because they may see what you're trying to do. The only card you can actually bring back to your hand as of right now is the 8-drop starter deck Broly. If there's one I'm missing, let me know in the comments. But that has a 0 combo cost. So like you're never really comboing this card off. But the strategy you could do is that you could charge this card in your energy. And then when you want to use an effect that causes you to remove energy and put it into a drop, you remove this card. So that way you always have a Broly BR card in your drop. So when you play the Paragus, you hope that your opponent gets rid of it and by KOing it. And then that will allow you to bring that Broly BR card back to your hand. But it's one of those things like when you see it, it's kind of like, it's a 20k, it matches my leader. Every attack, if I don't want to take damage, I'm going to have to combo a card off. So at some point, it may be smarter to just get rid of it early. I think it's just depends on the situation. Vegeta, the 3-drop, yellow, permanent opponent's turn. All of your rest mode battle cards can't be KO'd by your opponent's skills. So this goes really well with the Master Roshi earlier, because when you activate the blocker, it goes into rest mode. It goes to 25k. It's a little bit more protected that way. So if your opponent wants to get it, they have to actually combo over the 20 combo up to 25 or yada yada yada. They have to get rid of it naturally. They can't just use skills. But this also goes really well with another card because on play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, then play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 1 or less from your hand. You can always go with the old school sorbets, which draws a card on play. But earlier in the reveals, we got the Bulma card, which activate battle, switch this card to rest mode, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less, switch it to rest mode, or if you have a rest mode battle card with a cost of 3 or more, draw 1 card. So the kind of energy there really, or synergy, you play this card, you play the Bulma, you attack with this Vegeta, then you activate the Bulma, activate battle, so switch it to rest mode, draw 1 card, and now she can't be KO'd by your opponent's skills. They have to actually neg it out, bounce it, yada yada. So yeah, that's an interesting road you could go, or route. There we go. Next, we're going over Vegito. And I like this card. So permanent, your turn, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, reduce the cost of battle cards in your opponent's battle area by 1. So it makes 3 cost, 2 cost, 2 cost, 1 cost, 5 cost, 4 cost. You see what I'm saying? This goes really well, how I mentioned earlier, with the Goku Black that I talked about. So like I said, when the Goku Black's attacking, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards that cost a 2 or less. So you could snag 3 cost cards, which is pretty nice. But then you could go a little bit further with this as well. Earlier in reveals, there was a Vegito that when KO'd, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less, place it at the bottom of his deck. It can now hit 3 costs as well. There is the 3-drop Trunks, which typically bounces a 5 or less, can now bounce a 6 or less to your opponent's hand. And then there is the starter deck Vegeta, which would bottom deck a 4 or less, can now bottom deck a 5 or less. So this card has a lot of good potential. It is a 5k combo, which I like a lot, and it's it's just a natural permanent, which is always out there, which is kind of awesome. And then on play, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 1 or less and place it at the bottom of your deck. Once it goes into play, the permanent is in effect. So now this should be it's worded this way, but it actually sends 2 or less back to the bottom of your opponent's deck, which is pretty cool. Now moving over to Cell, the 8-drop. I talked a lot about this one on Masters. We're not getting to the ruling we're just going to go over the card itself. On play, you place 3 cards from your energy in your drop, choose with 2 of your opponent's battle cards, KO them, then add the top card of your deck to your life. This is really great. Now, the only problem with this card is that in conjunction with the leader, so you go from 8 to 5, you use the leader's effect to go back up to 6. You could play the Son Goku if you really wanted to. The only problem with the Son Goku is that it makes the leader's ability invalid. But if you want to use like the free cost extra card by sending an energy to your drop and then use Son Goku to ramp that energy back, fine, that's okay. But with this interaction, you play this, you pop 2 cards, you have a 45k on board, which is pretty cool. It's a good way of getting rid of the mirror match Broly, but of course they're also going to be running this card probably. Green's getting good stuff. Let's leave it at that. Rumshi is our next card. Also a God of Destruction, Universe 10. 5 energy for a 30k. So 1 more energy and 5 more power than Hellas. On play, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 30,000 power or less and KO it. I would rather just play the Star Deck Son Goku instead of this card. Yes, I know the Son Goku just negs the card by 20k, but it's a double strike. It's a 35k. This card's okay at best, I think. I think there's just way more better options for turn 5. Going over the Frieza, which is a 3 cost, auto your turn once per turn. When this card is switched to active mode by a skill, choose up to one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards with a cost of 4 or less, and it can't switch to active mode during your opponent's next turn. This card, once you awaken with the leader, is so good. As a reminder, the Star Deck Frieza, at the end of your turn, choose up to 2 of your battle cards, switch them to active mode. In conjunction with the 5 cost Frieza, which on attack, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and they cannot restand. So this prevents your opponent from restanding at least 2 of their cards. And once you get this like momentum going, like if you're playing against someone and you play the Frieza, which is double strike if correct, and your opponent has 3 or 4 life, you know, they're not going to die off that thing. You can actually swing, keep one of their cards in rest mode, attack another rest mode card, and as long as they have 2 other ones, you switch this Frieza to active mode, and that way you keep those 2 cards pinned down. If your opponent at that point tries to establish any kind of other board, you just play another one of these Friezas, and they're 20k, so you're getting an attack off these ones as well. They're 10k combos. This is a great card. I think I would play this as 4 off in the deck. It's just a really good. 3 energy is, yes, high for a card cost, but it's a combo piece. It can be charged if you need it to, but once you play this card, you're getting this effect off, which is pretty awesome. Now, granted, it only keeps a 4 or less battle card in rest mode, but I still think this is a great card. And then the last one, which actually got revealed earlier today when I'm recording this video, is Zeno. I feel like I've seen this card before in Masters, but it is a 6 cost card. It has 10,000 combo power, which is great. It's a 20k card. On play, choose all cards in the battle areas other than this card and place them at the bottom of the owner's deck in a random order. So this is kind of like a let us restart the battlefield. If your opponent by your time you get to 6 energy has kind of got a really strong board on you, you could just go, yeah, no, let's start over. Also, what's great about this card is that you can attack with all your cards first, then you play this card, and you attack with this card afterwards. Now, granted, that is 6 energy. You are pretty much leaving yourself tapped out for in case you try to play any extra cards or whatnot, but your opponent has to start back up again. So playing this card at the right time could probably save your life. Not a 4 of, maybe a 2 of in a deck in most cases, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, and that's all the cards up to this point that have been revealed. If I were to say this is my favorite, I will probably give it the 3-drop Vegito. I like that skill a lot. I think that's a great card. Also, I want to follow up with the Frieza 3-drop as well. These are fantastic cards. Absolutely love them. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.